We have a quorum. I'm going to reconvene. I need a motion to reconvene into open session, please.
So moved.
It's been moved.
I'll second.
It's been seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. Motion carries 4-0-1 with Trustee Hasegawa being absent tonight. Pledge of Allegiance. Flag's over there. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Announcement, adoption of agenda. I need a motion on the agenda, please.
So moved.
It's been moved.
I'll second.
It's been seconded. All those in favor of the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. Motion carries 4-0-1. Announcement of actions taken in closed session. The board gave direction to staff regarding negotiations with STA. Individuals desiring to address the board. I'll start with Katie Bassler. I want to remind the board and the public that each speaker has up to 3 minutes and that the board is absolutely listening and paying attention, but our protocols do not allow them to comment directly to the public during this portion or any portion of the meeting. Please begin. Oh, wait a minute. Is Monica here?
No, Tammy's on.
Tammy's got it. Okay. Go ahead.
Board, my name is Katie Bassler, and I will stay well within my 3-minute limit. This is actually the first time I've spoken at your board meetings. I do live in your district, and I appreciate and respect the quality education that this district provides our students. I'm here to speak tonight in reference to some of the comments that have made regarding health education in this district. The inaccuracy of what is taught at the primary grades through some of the speakers is an embarrassment to our teachers and the district because that is not what is taught. You have a board policy. Some of the speakers in the past have misinterpreted, possibly not understood what a board policy is. And I just want to thank the board for continuing business, but also make it clear that the education that is offered in this district is of very high quality, and those that live in this district appreciate it. Thank you for your service and your leadership during this time.
Okay. Next, we have Stephanie Owens. Stephanie Owens? Oh, hi.
All right.
You have a mask on. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Oh. Okay. Can you guys hear me okay with the mask on? I'm going to talk fast because I have 3 minutes. So you ready? Hi, my name is Stephanie. I'm here today as a concerned mother of an amazing daughter who will be in 4th grade this year. She has attended Spreckels since kindergarten. Some of you might know me, or maybe not, as Miss Owens. I'm the 8th grade science teacher at Buena Vista, and I have currently a BS in biology, so I know a little bit about science. I have had a lot of trouble writing something that wasn't too emotional or showed my frustrations. So I decided to call a former research virologist from Harvard to help me convey my thoughts. So I grabbed my phone and gave my big brother a call, and he did just that. Okay, the question at hand regarding the mandating of mask wearing in the classrooms stems from the July 28th California Department of Public Health's guidance for the use of face coverings, which adds recommendations for universal masking indoors statewide. It requires for all individuals, students and staff in K-12 schools to be masked indoors, regardless of vaccination status. This guideline has been adopted by Spreckels and is in effect for this school year. Our district agrees with this policy as it supports the health and well-being of all districts, or all Spreckels individuals. Okay, as a parent, I also support this policy because at the front of my mind is the safety of my daughter. As a teacher, I feel the exact same way for my students. All scientific and medical research has pointed to the benefit of mask wearing as a first-order protection against the spread of COVID-19, as well as other measures like social distancing, hand washing, and vaccinations. While each measure is not designed as 100% protection against COVID, each measure, while applied together, provides the highest level of protection for our students and ourselves. As for the statements being made that masks are either inefficient, detrimental, or somehow dangerous, there is no factual scientific evidence that this is true. Globally speaking, masks have been the single most effective tool for preventing the spread of the virus in those countries that have eased mask mandates have seen corresponding increases in COVID-19 cases, suggesting a direct correlation between masks and the prevention of virus spread. We can also see this trend happening in our own country. Check out Florida, Louisiana, and Arkansas, to name a few. Even as the rate of vaccination increases, there is also evidence that vaccination alone does not prevent an individual from becoming infected from or spreading the virus, especially due to the Delta variant. This also demonstrates that masks are still the best defense against catching or spreading the virus. And because the vaccines have not yet been approved for children under 12, masks, social distancing, and hand washing are the only protection they have. And by taking those, or at least one of those away, it leaves the child and those they come in contact with vulnerable and a higher risk of infection. In closing, we teach our children they need to sit in a car seat, wear seatbelts, helmets, because we want to keep them safe. But it's also the law that's written for their safety. Would we break this law because it's inconvenient or we don't like to do it? No. So we are asked as parents to ensure our children eat healthy, get plenty of sleep, and other common sense measures, not because the school district asked us to do it or the state of California, because it makes sense and it ensures that a child has the best possible chance of success in their future. As a parent, I would insist, or better yet demand, nothing less from my daughter's school, the government, in making decisions with my child's health and safety. Okay. I just one more sentence, if you don't mind. With all I have said, no matter what you believe, no child should ever become a statistic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael Light?
Good evening. I come in peace. I just asked for just a little latitude if possible. I have something from the heart I got to say. I got a little data first. My name's Mike Light. There are over 73 million adolescents under the age of 18 in this country. The death rate amongst this population due to COVID is 0%. In Monterey County, there are roughly 110,000 children. Not one has died of COVID. To my knowledge, not one active teacher has died of COVID in Monterey County. I don't know that for sure, but that's my assumption. I'm going to read a direct quote from what I hold with incredible integrity, the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. They have biology degrees as well there. The overall clinical consequences of COVID-19 are similar to those of severe seasonal influenza, having a case fatality rate of approximately 0.1%. In addition, data from hospitalized patients with COVID-19 and general public indicate that the majority of deaths were among older and chronically ill individuals, supporting the possibility that the virus may exacerbate existing conditions but rarely causes death by itself. Face masks restricting breathing, causing hypoxemia and hypercapnia, and increase the risk for respiratory complications, self-contamination, and exacerbation of existing chronic conditions. In fact, the current standard of care practice for treating hospitalized patients with COVID-19 is breathing 100% oxygen. Therefore, it has been hypothesized, 1, the practice of wearing face masks has compromised safety and efficacy profiles. 2, both medical and non-medical face masks are ineffective to reduce human-to-human transmission and infectivity of SARS, COVID-2, and COVID-19. 3, wearing face masks has adverse physiological and psychological effects. 4, long-term consequences of wearing face masks on health are detrimental, quote, unquote, from the highest standard of medical research in this country. Back in June, I heavily scolded this board and administration about the perpetuated levy of masks on our children, along with the so many health risks that are supported by the medical and science fields that I've exemplified today. 2 people on this panel assured the constituents, it's recorded, I could play it back if you want to hear it. There would be no masks this fall. July 27th, the board members of the Placentia Yorba Linda Unified School District voted to push back on the local health department, CDC, in order to maintain mask optional. There are numerous others that have been following suit over the last week. Let me be crystal clear. No entity has taken their teaching credentials, as I've been told will happen if we push back. When is this board and administration going to get real and put our children first?
Mr. Light, your
I just
time's
got one
expired,
thing I
sir.
want to say, just if you give me a little latitude. This is out of love right here, Steve. Now, finished with that part. I'm here in peace.
Sir,
Okay.
sir,
I get it.
I got to treat everybody the same.
My family dedicated their entire lives to this district when it comes to education. I just want to finish this real quick. I got something to say to the teachers,
I
please.
understand, sir, but
I get it.
I have
We
to follow
have put
protocol, sir.
hundreds of thousands of dollars into this district over the years. My wife and I both attended Spreckels. My first son, Cody, went through Buena Vista. We have chosen to live.
Mr.
Where
Light.
we live, please, Steve, just please, hear me out for a second. I'm here in peace. I want to be the solution too, okay?
I'm trying, Mr. Light.
We have
but-
chosen to live here because of the internal faith in this specific institution and the amazing teachers it holds sacred.
Mr. Light,
A teacher
Mr.
I
Light,
love. Can I just please finish? Okay, we're
Mis-
not going to tie up the time, Steve. Please let me finish here.
Mr. Light,
I'm here
please.
in peace, and I just need to get this off my chest to recognize a couple of the teachers that I love so dearly here. Okay?
could you come back in September and finish up?
Yeah, I'm going to do it then, but it's important now today because there's something important here.
But I have to ask you to step away from the podium.
Okay,
Please.
let
I-
me
I need-
finish,
I need you
please.
to.
I'm pleading with you.
I understand.
You're going to shut me down? How many minutes does the public have to speak here? 20?
Collectively.
Collectively.
Yeah.
And we will for sure be under that. Please allow me the latitude for a second. I've got a couple people that I want to show here appreciation,
Mr. Light.
especially this panel. Do you want to shut it down? What, does that make you feel powerful, Steve?
Not at all.
Well-
but I got to follow protocols. sir.
Okay, protocols. Okay, let's follow protocols.
That's what I signed
This
on
is
to
a
do.
one-way deal, and you're having dialogue about protocols. When I'm
please,
here,
please
if-
asking you
for
to
the
step away from the
parents-
podium. Sir, please. Please finish up.
Thank
Let's go.
you. Thank you. A teacher I have loved and trusted, appreciate greatly, is Lori Caldera. She's a part of Cody's success, my son. She's part of my success as a parent and individual. Miss Lori, Mrs. Norman, Mrs. Harmon, Kelly Bunch, and Marie Segala are special individuals along with most of the staff here at Spreckels. When I see the staff chattering on Facebook with known radicals, the trust erodes.
Mr. Light,
When
please,
this staff will not
step
push
away
back
from the
on our
podium.
children's health against anyone or anything, it threatens them
Mr. Light,
because a credential may be at risk. The trust is gone. And I'm standing here as a generational constituent of this district that
Mr.
has
Light.
100% trusted
Mr. Light,
the program and now has become a parent so disappointed and disregarded that we are
Travis,
pulling our
can you
son
turn the
out,
microphones off, please.
pulling our
Turn your microphones off. Travis, turn the mics back on. All right. Next up is Karen Pridemore. I think I'm pronouncing it right or reading it right. Pridemore? Okay.
Hello, I'm Karen. We'll get to the point because I've got a lot of info here. Let's start with the particle size of COVID-19, 125 nanometers. Compare that to the most effective N95 mask with the holes being 300 nanometers. Disposable masks are obviously going to be much less effective. As it states on this box, these products are not intended to prevent any disease or illness. Each mask is intended for single use only. Discard immediately after use. The school has made it so the kids won't have to wear masks for more than an hour at a time. So will you provide 6 masks per child per day? No. Elementary children simply don't have the knowledge of basic biology. They touch everything in sight, then touch their mouths and nose. A mask will only have kids touching their face more often. For any mask to be effective at all, it must be put on and taken off correctly. Children this age do not have the understanding nor the care about the importance of that. The National Library of Medicine did testing on N95 masks, with the results shown on pubmed.org. Conclusions of that test being, and I quote, "The N95 filtering facepiece respirator may not provide the expected protection level against small virions. It should be noted that the surgical masks are primarily designed to protect the environment from the wearer. I'm livid regarding this proposed mandate and frankly embarrassed by the American masses who aren't looking for facts. The facts are there. They are also very difficult to understand, but they are there. We all deserve facts. So facts, here we go. Regarding parents' fear of the Delta variant, as of July 30th, 2021, the CDC said 161 out of the 161 million vaccinated residents in the United States, 5,601 caught this Delta variant and were hospitalized. 1,141 people died. That is 0.0007%. You have more of a chance of dying from a car crash. Why are these mandates coming up? According to the American Society for Microbiology, Delta is now responsible for 83% of all COVID cases. Again, this is the end of July. This is great news if the original COVID-19-1 is less than 17%. This shows if we stop mandates now, the current Delta variant will run its course and drastically decline as COVID-19-1 is currently showing us. There's no scientific evidence that supports healthy people wearing masks. There have been extensive randomized controlled trials, or RCT studies, and meta-analysis reviews of the RCT studies, which all show masks and respirators do not work to prevent respiratory illness believed to be transmitted by droplets and aerosol particles. The main transmission path is long residence aerosol particles smaller than 2.5 micrometers, which are too small to be blocked. Wash
Karen,
your
your
hands.
time's expired.
Don't sneeze or cough on people. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Okay. Do we have any board recognition tonight? None tonight? Bargaining unit presentations? STA?
Good evening, Spreckels Board of Trustees and Spreckels community members. As some of you may know, my name is Laura Villarengo. I currently hold the position of President of the Spreckels Teachers Association, and I'm proud to present my teaching community, represent my community tonight. I'm a middle school teacher of 6th, 7th, and 8th graders at Buena Vista, where I teach Spanish and our newly adopted ELD curriculum. Like many parents in our district, I am a wife and mother of 2 wonderful children, one of which was a lifer, a kinder through 8th grader here at Spreckels. STA is very much looking forward to the beginning of a fresh new school year for our community. Spreckels teachers are committed to a full return to in-person teaching this fall. When the school year begins, Spreckels teachers will comply with all state and local mandated safety protocols. We will not risk the safety of staff or students or jeopardize our professional licenses through noncompliance. As with most crises, there are some silver linings due to the pandemic. We discovered collective strengths like resilience and flexibility. We responded to ever-changing recommendations and mandates with grit and grace. We were reminded of our love of teaching and learning. Ideally in person at school, we were also reminded of just how much schools provided for our communities academically and beyond. In addition, education has received unprecedented funding to address fallout of the pandemic, specifically the learning loss and learning gaps. There is funding for intervention and enrichment programs. There is funding for tutoring and extended school days. There is funding for teacher training. There is funding for social emotional wellness. I could go on because there is more, but you get the picture. That funding is intended to be spent on our teachers and students now, not to be saved for a rainy day. Our current students have already endured too many rainy days. It is they who suffered the tragedy of 2 compromised school years. It is they who need and deserve immediate help and support. Spreckels and Buena Vista teachers are up for the challenge. We will work more. We will work harder to deliver programs and support to our students. As such, as we look forward to this fresh start, we would like to remind the board that members of the Spreckels Teachers Association are valuable assets to our professional education community. Our expertise and professionalism, along with our institutional and historical knowledge, allow us, the teachers, to fulfill our district's vision to deliver an equitable, rigorous, world-class education in an innovative environment that values safety, connectedness, and diversity in order to promote lifelong learners. We welcome new members with full support and enthusiasm. However, we continue to lose highly qualified, experienced teachers due to low pay. Hopefully now, with the plethora of various funding sources, the board and the administration will prioritize certificated salaries to recruit and retain highly qualified teachers. Research has proven time and again there is nothing more impactful on student achievement than their classroom teachers. In sum, Spreckels teachers will work positively and proactively with our board and administration in the fall. Our priority as professionals is to keep students first, and we anticipate the creation of a warm, welcoming classroom experience that will allow all students a safe and engaging place where they can learn and grow successfully. We look forward to continuing our work in the fall and beyond. Thank you for your time and attention.
Okay. Anybody from CSA here tonight? Okay. Board member comments. Want to start at the end? Michael?
Sure. I don't have any comments. Thank you.
Okay. Stephanie?
I do. So I want to welcome everyone to the new school year, as by our next meeting we will be well underway. I know there is a range of emotions that our community is yes, thank you. I know there is a thank you. I know there is a range of emotions that our community is feeling right now. Excitement for the start of in-person learning, anxiety about resuming full in-person, relief that there are alternative learning options available, and every emotion in between. This is true for other facets of for the ongoing pandemic, that there remains the full spectrum of emotions regarding the incidence rates of COVID, masks, and the vaccine. And I also hear and see that there are waves of emotions that we all are feeling after 18 months of a pandemic. Anger, frustration, disappointment, loss, grief, numbness. And our students, our children, too, have experienced this. And we also can't forget that we are very near the anniversary of the river fire. And I know for my family, that is also on our minds and maybe on some of you and your students too. I know I say it often, but we are all so busy living, surviving each day, that we may forget to recognize just how hard these months, almost years, have been. We have an opportunity to come together as a community at this traditionally celebratory back-to-school time of year to hold each other up, to hold all of our students up, and to wrap them in unity of a community that is dedicated and committed to them, both academically and holistically. The students are looking to us for leadership as their navigators during a time that continues to be uncertain with continuous changes, because they too are navigating their own daily waters. But hopefully together we can do our best to minimize the waves that reach them. I hope that every student in our district, whether they are attending in person at Spreckels or Buena Vista, or the independent study program, a virtual academy, homeschooling program, or in another public or private alternative, has a special first day of school. And noting that that doesn't have to be a grand expenditure, it can be some small, thoughtful gesture, and those often mean more, so that we can celebrate the start of this academic year and learning, demonstrating optimism for their growth and flourishing over the next months. We all know there is a lot going on, swirling around us. Let's be our students' academic champions. Thank you.
thank yous. Thank you for the training we did today. I really enjoyed that. I learned so much about being on the board and board meetings in general, and I'm very grateful to have had that opportunity. So thank you, guys. Very excited for the schools to open. As I was going today to the district office and I looked at the playground and there's no kids there yet. And I am so excited to see kids on the playground. Our schools look very clean. Spreckels and BV, thank you to everyone who have maintained our schools and are getting them ready for the kids to come back. And I'm also excited for free lunches. I love that we have free lunch program for all of our kids. And I think that's, I know that I get nervous at the beginning of the school year, and I imagine many of the kids are excited to go back and see their teachers, meet their teachers in person. I love our teachers so much, and I'm excited for you too. So thank you.
Okay. And the training today that we had during our study session this morning / afternoon, I know folks took time out of their day to come, and that's that's a huge ask since you already had a meeting tonight anyway. And also staff. It's not that you didn't have anything else to do, but this was an add-on, and thank you for that. And we learned a lot about what was going on in our heads as we conduct meetings. We also learned one of us had a hard time hearing because of how the room was set up, so we made a change in that, and hopefully that's working out. We'll see. But it was worth the time, and it was an investment in how we go about board business. And at the end of the day, we give staff the direction, and they carry it out. And the better we do that, the better we function, the better the students benefit. And that's the name of the game. Looking forward to opening. I'll be on the steps with you for one or the other, or both, or we'll split tour that day.
You're welcome to the welcome back on the 16th as well.
Okay.
If the representative wants to come.
Let's put that on the calendar. All right. And let's move on with the meeting. And with that, it's time for the superintendent's report.
I'm going to reserve most of my comments for later. It's kind of embedded, but I do want to welcome people back to the school year. I mean, it's been rough 2 years. You can drown in the negativity if you want, but I'm going to choose to stay positive, and what I'm going to celebrate is that we're bringing all our kids back in 2 weeks. And it's about time. And we're going to have to make sacrifices to keep them in school. I mean, if you pay attention to what's going on, schools are opening up, kids are getting COVID, but I'm very confident in the safety and health protocols we have in place. And we just have to remind ourselves, we do have a collective aim here. It's bringing kids back, keeping them in school, and realizing they're resilient. We had a late summer school program, and we implemented the new sets of guidelines, right, and kind of stood back and see how the kids would react. They were fine. Kids they're the easy ones, and so I can't wait. Let's have a great school year, another exciting one. Welcome back.
Okay. Yep.
Vacations?
Oh, no, we didn't. That's why I skipped over it, but I should have said that. Thank you, Michael, for keeping me honest on the agenda. Appreciate it. We don't have any this month. Buena Vista Middle School.
I am so excited for this year. I had a little glimpse of it today. We did new student tours today at Buena Vista. So any family that had moved into our location or any district transfers were welcome to come at noon today and get a tour of campus. And it was so refreshing to be able to walk through every pod and go through the normal routines that we do at Buena Vista, and to go over lunchtime routines in the field and the pavilion and checking out sports equipment. So it was very exciting. I got a burst of energy from it, and I know that's how the kids are going to feel when we start in 2 weeks. So it's exciting. We are looking forward to this school year. A lot of information is now going out from site principals. We're starting to send that information to parents to start planning, to purchase school supplies, and to have just a great year back. So looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to giving you guys updates at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you. Spreckels Elementary.
Sometimes it's really nice that I'm last alphabetically, but sometimes everything's been said already. But but I really just want to echo that I can't even begin to tell you how happy I am that there's going to be a huge amount of children on this campus. It's crazy when you think there's over 600 of them, but I can't wait till they're all back. And we're working really hard to make that happen. And I just want to give a big shout out, especially to the custodial staff. Man, have they been working hard this summer. They worked so hard through all the sanitizing time when we came back after Easter last year, and now they're getting everything ready, and we're making new little pods of areas for some outdoor education and rerouting some of our lunch tables to make it all work. And it's kind of exciting to add some changes. Hopefully that'll work out really well and stay in place for many, many years. Just thinking about, I know you're going to like this one, just thinking about doing a science experiment out at the tables and making a mess, and it doesn't matter, right? Instead of in the classroom, and those kind of things would be really, really fun. So lots of fun out-of-the-box thinking has kind of come along this year from my teaching staff and from everybody around, and it's really fun to watch that energy coming, because I really believe that every single staff person can't wait to see the kids, and that's always what it's about. So big shout out to everybody. And then I just wanted to say, and I will make sure I include you all if you're not current parents at Spreckels Elementary. We're sending out, like Kate said, a lot of information. We sent the supply list out. I'm working on our first newsletter and all of the things that are going to go out before school starts, so the parents will know about. We are doing meet and greets for the first grade and kindergarten, because those kiddos really haven't been on campus before, and letting the rest of the kiddos get that first day at school as their meet and greet. And then we moved our back to school night up early, so all the parents can come on campus and see the classrooms and get a really good feel for what's going on and walk around, and if they haven't been here before, because we want to welcome all our new families and all our returning families back. So excited. And so when you see me in September, I'll tell you how it all went. Thank you.
Do we have anybody from SUEF tonight? Oh, hello. Nothing? Oh, okay, thanks. Okay. How about PTO? Alrighty. Hello.
This is my first in-person board meeting, so I'm very excited to be here. My name is Nina Haro Cordero. I am the PTO president. This is my second year. I'm also a mother of 4. I have 3 here in the district and 1 at home. I'm also a teacher of 14 years, as well as a teacher wife. My husband is also a teacher at Salinas High School this year. So I just wanted to tell the board how excited we are to be back. Like, can we just take a moment to be so excited to be back on campus? We as parents have been, in the throes of it, and even as a teacher myself, the year was so hard. So we are incredibly grateful for our staff and our teachers and custodians and secretaries and board members and everybody who's worked so diligently to get our kiddos back. So we are thrilled. Some exciting things happening. We get some normalcy back from PTO. These are the things we love. So we're going to have our welcome back breakfast for the staff on the 16th. PTO and Bobcat are going to work together to provide that. We have our fall fundraiser in full force that will be in September. That's our big fundraiser for Spreckels. We're really hoping to have a banger year this year. Last year was a little rough, so the coops might return. Sorry, teachers, but it's a little bit of normalcy. The book fair will be back in November on campus, which is really, really exciting because the kids absolutely love that book fair, being able to touch the books and be here. We are still in need of 2 volunteers for board positions. We have our vice president position open and also our auditor position open. And here's my plug for volunteers. We have been having declining volunteers in the district for the last few years. This is a fantastic way to get that time and energy into something positive for the kids. Being a part of the parent groups is it's really a way to give back to the students here in the district and do something positive for everyone. So we encourage anybody who has the time to volunteer with us, shoot us an email, let us know what you want to do. We are welcoming of everyone coming in to help. And we are also, we have our Facebook page and our Instagram page. Be sure to like us and follow along because that's how we get a lot of our information out to you. So thank you again for your time and for all the hard work. I am so excited to be back.
Thanks. How about Bobcat Club? Anybody from Bobcat Club tonight? No. Okay. Fund balance report. And you know I'm excited about this.
Actually, another point of order before we move into business. When we exited closed session, we also had direction on the second litigation that we need for the record.
Oh, I wasn't aware we needed to do that. So how would you like me to go about doing that?
Just to announce the consensus of the
You
recommendation.
want me to read the case number?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
It was item B.
Yeah, let me find it here. I think it's at the top of the next page. Okay, moving back to now, what part of the agenda was this? C, announcement of action taken in closed session. The board gave direction to staff regarding litigation, potential litigation, case number 072821.
Thank you very much. So on to the fund balance report, and this represents activity in the new fiscal year through 7/31. And it's, at this point, there have been no cash accounts rolled forward into our system because we're still in the process of closing the books. So it's a nice report to test our percentages of total balance, our total budget, which you can see in the expenditures line. None of the budgets are over 100%, which is a good thing because all of the salaries have been encumbered. This will change drastically when we finish our final hiring and we bring that budget revision to you likely in October. If you have any specific questions about this report, please let me know.
This report tells us all the money's there for now.
All the money's there for now.
Okay. Any questions from board members on fund balance report? Okay. Thank you for that. Class configuration.
This represents the enrollment through last Thursday, July 29th. And I'm just going to go to the second page because the activity, there's sort of a flurry in the last week. So we're not focusing drastically on the numbers. In some, last week we went from 964 to 962. There has since been some adds, then there's been some drops. We'll know really after that first day of school when we see the students in their seats, and we'll bring you a September report with the final enrollment, the class assignments, and hopefully what then begins to be the first round of assumptions for our budget development in terms of ADA and how those things all fall out. We are a little bit higher than we ended last year, so that's the good news. We ended the year, our snapshot number anyway was 955. So at 962, I think that's a positive trend.
Thank you. So I see that fifth grade, I looked at it earlier. I see that fifth grade is higher in numbers than I'm usually would like to see. I really do like smaller class sizes. That's something I've complained about for years. And I see that our pre-K through our fourth grade, I really like our numbers. Yeah, I think we're doing a really good job there. Fifth grade is uncomfortable for me, but I understand. Thank you.
The contract addresses, the bargaining unit contract addresses the class size, and if there are overages because of our own population, we have frozen all interdistricts coming into those classes when they get to that cap, or even close to it, because we always want a little wiggle room for our own students to come in. You don't typically see a lot of that in the fourth, fifth, sixth grade. Most of them, of course, start in the younger ages, but yeah, we monitor that very closely.
Anything else from the board on class size configuration? Okay. Facilities update.
So most of what's happening is that the guys are working very hard to prepare for school to open. And then, of course, we're working on we had the bid opening for our facilities, our Buena Vista project. We're also gathering information about the Spreckels School toilet replacement project. I was recently approached by one of the energy efficiency companies requesting an opportunity to work on a solar and HVAC upgrade feasibility study. And years ago, when we were going out for the bond measure, we surveyed our parents, our community, and there was no interest in solar whatsoever. And so I don't know if this is something that through a conversation with the facilities committee, we could reconvene our facilities committee and start talking about what are our facility priorities. At some point, you know, we do have projects going on, but at some point, and it doesn't even have to be this fall, we could get the school year started, settle down a little bit, but just to start thinking about, you know, our next set of master planning for our facilities.
You know, once we get down the road a little ways here in the school year,
Yeah.
reconvene facilities, just to have a cursory discussion about what we can do next steps around this and see if there's if it has legs or not.
I agree. Thank you.
Okay.
That
okay,
is the ask.
Michael? You good? Okay, all right. No worries. Thanks. Oh, Gas B. Now I'm really excited.
This is simply a required supplemental information that we need to close our books. It basically projects what our post-employment responsibilities would be if all of the current staff as of June 30th were to reach the threshold for eligibility for retiree benefits on the health and welfare side of the house. And so we project a number, we post it in our books, and the folks at GASB and our accountants are happy.
Which is only a concern is if we ever go bankrupt and close up our doors.
And if we were a district who offered lifetime benefits,
Okay.
which there
What-
are maybe one or two still out there, but ours are,
LAUSD maybe, yeah.
yes,
okay.
yes, and that's part of where this came from is
Yep.
too rich of a benefit
Yeah,
that
okay,
bankrupted some districts.
right.
So,
Okay, 45-day revision on our budget.
so what I would prefer to do is actually put these revisions into the budget financial system along with all of our final new hirings. But since we're still finishing our hiring and we don't have all the positions set, I thought I would at least bring a snapshot of the changes based on the state budget that was adopted late in the year. The requirement for a 45-day revise is based on if there's material change in the revenue from the budget the district adopted in June to the final state adopted budget. And that 45-day revision then becomes a requirement to go to the County Office of Education for their review, and they can't deny our budget, but they can agree or disagree and then talk to us about possible monitoring steps we need to take if our let's say we just overstated enrollment and thought we were going to get 2,000 kids and we really only have 1,000. It's that kind of sort of oversight. So because of just the timing, I thought I'd bring a snapshot to you of the revenue side of the changes in the budget. As you can see, the revenue through the local control funding formula, the swing is less than $300. Absolutely immaterial in terms of presenting that 45-day revision to the county. But some of the other things that are significant, that are positive actually, on the third line, the state unemployment insurance, we adopted the budget at a rate of 1.23. The state budget came in and reduced it to 0.5. So there's about a $40,000 savings to our expenditure line, just that one item. There's another expanded learning opportunities program that's got a value of about $103,000. Eric and I have talked a little bit about this. It's an optional program, but it has a time frame component of X amount of hours worth of instruction, counting before school, after school, Saturday school. You know, there's a lot to it. And we're not sure even what the application process looks like, but It is in the budget. There's a potential of $103,000 if we were to take that program on. And we'll be talking more about that at management and then bringing you back some details. Another really great one is number 5, the AB 602 allocation that comes to the special education side of the house. That resource, between the COLA, the super COLA, and the changes in growth, we're going to see an increase of almost $90,000 in that program. And what's significant about that is that our SPED program encroaches more than any other program on the entire general fund budget. So that's a swing. It's not changing expenditures, and it's not new additional money to fund the program. It's just reducing the encroachment from the general fund. So then those funds can then go to support our base program. So that one is really significant. The pre-K planning, which is the 4-year-old preschool or TK, there's an implementation grant of $100,000 minimum to all districts. If it's based on your size, but the minimum is $100,000 if you have a current program. So we are going to qualify for that. I don't have the specifics. I think they're still lining out some of the language. It'll come through trailer bills or further compliant information, but it's a planning batch of funds that you can actually use for facilities, maybe training teachers. The first stage of implementing a pre-K or an expanded TK is next school year. So this is definitely something that we're going to have to focus some resources on in terms of preparing. It's not getting all four-year-olds in school by next fall, but it's staging it. So 3 years out, they need to all be in. The first thing we have to come up with, and probably through some kind of demographic study, is how many classrooms would that be? Because the ratio is like 10 to 1, 10 students to 1. So on the facility side, that's challenging. So in total, these changes from the state adopted budget, from our adopted budget in the district's adopted budget in June, is the bottom line, a swing of $331,000.
Back to the expansion of TK. Now, there is money in the budget. I don't know, I can't recall if it's through multiple years or just 1 year, for districts that get in line to expand facilities for impending TK expansion. But when I look at that number for the whole state, it's not a very big number, which is kind of ridiculous. So what are your thoughts on that?
No, it's not a very big number, and there is sort of a get in line,
Yeah.
which is why I think that we need to begin with that demographic study, because we've always, we've had a TK program. Teresa, correct me, are we in our 5th year, maybe 6th year? We've had it for a bit. But we need to look back from year 1, in my mind, how we would start. Look back from year 1, how many of those students were our students versus inter-districts? I mean, we can consider both, but looking at ours first, because if you're going into a facilities request from the state facilities program, the demographic has to include our students.
Right.
They're not going to help us build.
From the outside in.
Correct.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's like step 1.
Okay.
But, you know, I know it's only August 5th, but it will be here quickly. And getting into any of those SAB programs on the facility side is time consuming. It takes many years to get, you know, you might make a funding request, but by the time you get
Yeah. Would
the
it be,
allocation.
you know, opening a school is often, even if you pay for the bricks and mortar with a bond, sometimes there's split funding, but if you have a reserve, but you end up losing money for the first few years on ADA before the school actually kind of pays for itself over time. I see this kind of like a similar scenario. And so that's a concern to expand that program, but at the same time, having to pay for it when, you know, we're an $11 million ongoing operation. It's not like, you know, we have a couple $100 million, you know, ongoing, among other things. So could we talk about that in facilities committee as well, maybe? Would that be appropriate or no?
I think at the facilities committee, that's where we could make a determination about the value of a demographic study. I mean, I could pencil one out myself,
Okay.
but I'm certainly not an expert on the demographics of this. When there are folks, and in fact, the high school uses them because they come back, you know, they look at all of the feeder districts, you know, so there may be even some work that's been done out there from a consultant that we could glean onto. And I imagine with the implementation money hitting districts, there will be a lot of services that are in the works right now being developed in terms of how to assist districts to figure this out. There's the developer fee side of things that you can actually use developer fees to build schools if you are experiencing growth. And so I think that will be tied in a little bit. And, you know, we might have developer fees available to us right now that might fund one portable,
Right.
one classroom.
Okay.
And maybe that's all we need. Maybe we only need one more.
Okay.
I don't know. If you look at, like right now, if our TK's at almost 20, and in 5 years we have to be at 10 to 1, well then just with the grade level that we're in now, which is only, what, a 3-month snapshot, that's 2 classrooms.
With status quo. Yeah. Okay. All right. Sorry to belabor it, but
No,
my
it's
gears are spinning
okay.
on it.
It's okay, because I'm jumping way, way ahead,
Well,
and it's not
I mean, I know the
necessarily
legislation
today.
it says we're going to bring them into the Prop 98, but it's not that simple.
Well, and it's especially when they're setting those ratio limits. And then there's the whole other side of, there's preschool programs out there now that how is this going to impact those programs? And do we need to follow that same level of licensing? And I mean, it's a whole different thing than, so, yeah.
Okay.
Facilities, it wouldn't hurt to talk about it there, but that could be a few months after school starts.
Yeah. And how? Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks for the discussion. Sorry
Yeah.
to carry on and on, but
That's the second time today I said and how.
I know. I'll stop now.
All right.
Make it.
Make it 3. Okay. That's it there. Oh, quarterly treasuries report from the county. Now I'm really excited.
This is through the 4th quarter of the fiscal year ending June 30th, and it's just showing you how our cash is managed. Our interest has actually been healthy because we've got a good, nice fund balance, but this is the detail that's required to come to you from the Board of Supervisors.
Yep.
That is 51 through 65.
On page 59, it
59.
talks about pre-K. Is pre-K not our lowest? It says, it starts with K, and I thought our lowest was pre-K on page 59.
59 of, hang on a second, I might have some numbering issues. 59 of the,
Yeah, right over there. No, yeah, keep going.
59 of the
The
agenda.
blue, yeah.
It's off a page because of the cover page
Oh.
on the agenda.
So you're actually in the consolidated application. You're
Yeah.
in the next item.
Okay, sorry. Thank you.
But we'll get to that. So yeah,
Yeah, we're headed there right now, actually.
there it is, yeah.
Okay. Were there any questions on the treasurer's report? I don't want to assume. Okay. Okay, moving on to consolidated application. I'd like to get a motion on the floor before staff talks about it.
So moved.
It's been moved?
I'll second.
Seconded.
So this is the required application. You'll see it twice a year. It's related to the federal funds that we receive, such as Title I, Title IV, which is for staff development. Title I is to support socioeconomic students with low socioeconomic opportunities. Title IV, we receive money for staff development. And this is just a list or a set of assurances that we go through. And I do see the page 59 where it says K, which is the lowest grade offer. And I'll reach out to them because this is a pre-populated field that comes from CalPADS. And we do report our TKs. Sometimes they're listed as a 0, and it might have just rolled those up. But the student enrollment, that is an accurate number. Yeah. But you're right. No, that should say TK through 5.
Thank you.
You guys get a CalPADS number?
They do.
Okay.
And 3-year-olds and 2-year-olds and 1-year-olds.
Yeah, okay.
They do.
Right on. Okay. Any questions from the board on this? Okay, then. All those in favor, please say aye. I'm an aye as well. Motion carries 401. Okay, I'm going to adjourn into public hearing. I need a motion, though. It's been moved.
I'll second.
It's been seconded. We're in public hearing pursuant to Assembly Bill 130. The governing board of Spreckels Union School District is holding a public hearing on Board Policy 6158 regarding independent study for the current school year that's about to begin, 21-22. Does anybody from the public want to speak on our independent studies policy that we had to update rather quickly? Thank you, Sacramento. Seeing none, I'm going to close public hearing, and I need a motion to adjourn from public hearing, please.
So moved.
It's been moved.
Second.
Seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 401. Curriculum instruction, information, action, Assembly Bill 130, independent study, regulation and policy, Exhibit 6158. I would love a motion on that.
So moved.
Thanks, Coach.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded.
This bill for parents that were still not comfortable sending kids back. So basically it requires us to offer an independent study program. Small districts could either offer it themselves or partner with other districts. So we are actually partnering with Salinas City. They have a virtual academy and for K-6, and then the MCOE has a 7th and 8th grade independent study program. As of today, only 4 families, parents, have expressed any interest. I would say maybe 1 or 2 will actually, based on health conditions. So it's very, very comprehensive, this policy, is because we wanted to keep the opportunity, if we ever do, grow the program, if we see, 30, 40, 50 kids going in, we don't want to lose those kids. So this is, allows us to kind of create a program if we need it, and also it addresses what we're doing this year.
Question.
Yes, sir.
The students associated with those 4 families, are they reflected in the class size configuration, or are they off to the side?
They are in the numbers now, because they've not committed. Basically, we just got the...
So we're going to lose that ADA.
Maybe 1. Yeah,
Okay.
1 or 2, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's, by entering in an agreement with other districts, we have to basically release them on inter-districts. They can come back at any point. We have 5 days actually to transition them back.
Right.
Yeah,
Pretty short order.
yeah. We're all, I mean,
But it's not so
districts
many
are all
that-
scrambling to figure out how we're going to do this, and so it's kind of
But the,
evolving as we speak.
but the interest is so low that it shouldn't be disruptive to staff and
No.
the class size.
No,
Okay.
at this point, no.
Okay. Any questions from board members? Sure?
Yeah, one.
Okay.
Thank you. If they decide it's not working for them. I didn't see
Welcome
that.
back.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
we have 5 days to welcome them
So
back.
our-
Yeah, the
we're
law
why-
requires us to get them back within
Yeah.
5 days.
It just, yeah,
And we're
that's
hoping
good
that,
to know.
and we're hoping that's the case, because I
very
think
good to know.
some people's reluctancy or fear will be hopefully quickly
Yeah,
put down when they see things working out, which
Yeah.
we're sure they're going to, so.
totally.
Furthermore, if they kind of fall off the radar with their current teacher in the virtual academies, they don't re-engage in short order, relatively short order, then they'll be sent back as well.
And what I think parents will find out is this independent study is nowhere near what we did last year. It wasn't, it's not, it doesn't have the same requirements as we did in the spring.
Yeah.
So it might not be a model they actually want.
Yeah. Very true. Anything else from the board? Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. Motion carries 401. Personnel, information action, offers of certificated staff employment for this coming school year. I need a motion, please. It's been moved.
Second.
Seconded. Any discussion or just boilerplate?
We like to put this together at the beginning of the school year. It lists the current list of certificated staff. It's certificated staff only, and it just shows their contract percentage, their site, and their status. Many will move from like a probe 0 to a probe 1, or from a probe 2 to a permanent. It's an opportunity for everyone to see and confirm as well that we've got them in the right place. This information is put on their contracts that they execute as well with Eric. But yeah, this is our list.
Okay. Any questions?
Looks pretty good.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 I'm an aye as well. Motion carries 401. California CSEA appendix to their collective bargaining agreement, schedule of classified ranges. I need a motion, please. It's been moved and seconded.
And
Anything?
this is a change required by the state minimum wage threshold to be at $14 an hour. And because we had a resignation of the two positions that are highlighted, the district courier and the office aide, we had to move those up to the next step that would be no less than $14 an hour. The person that retired at those positions, it was one person sharing positions. They were farther over on the salary schedule, so it did not impact them. They were above the minimum requirement. But now, as a vacancy, we needed to make that change. And we worked through this with CSEA. They're in agreement.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. Motion carries 401. Intervention teacher job description revision. I do need a motion on that, please.
So moved.
It's been moved.
Second.
It's been seconded. Anything from staff?
Just cosmetic changes. Number one was the title. Chris pointed out that learning loss, we wanted to get rid of that.
Yeah.
And then we took out references to distance learning, things like that. This will be an in-person, full-time job. It's actually a return of one of our favorites. Mrs. Ball is going to fill the position, so yeah.
All right. Any questions from board? No? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. Motion carries 401. School counselor job description revision.
This is another cause. Oh,
Let me
I'm sorry.
get a motion first.
So sorry.
Veronica, sorry.
Second.
Seconded? Okay.
Again,
This is just another aligning. On one of our documents, we had district counselor. On the salary schedule, we had school counselor. On the LCAP, we had school counselor. So we corrected the job description. It's a school counselor. It's simply aligning these three documents together.
and the good news is we've hired the position. That's the good news, yeah.
Any questions from the board? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. Motion carries 401. Declaration of need for fully qualified educators revised. I need a motion. It's moved. Seconded. I know it's boilerplate. Did staff want to speak to it?
Yeah, we made a specific revision to the authorization for single subjects under math and physical education because those were some still vacant positions. So under the guidance of MCOE, we wanted to bring this back to have a more specific single subject identified.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion, I'm an aye as well. Motion carries 401. Moving on to administration, bridging program update.
Yeah, I mentioned we just finished up a three-week, we call it a bridging program, phase 2. That was last Friday. So right now we're collecting pre and post test on that, and we'll come back with a report once we got all the numbers. But first pass, it looked really good. It looked like the kids, for the most part, all made growth. Besides that, though, it was for academic but also social emotional reasons too. And I don't know, Teresa and I split the principal position. First, I have a whole new respect for primary teachers. I got called to cover a first grade class. Teacher needed a break. And yeah, it was a group of kids just learning how to read. And I realized that, talking about the fall of Rome and the Byzantine Empire wasn't going to cut it that day. So primary teachers, Mr. Bellis, you guys do big stuff. I don't know if I could pull it off. So, but getting back, so we implemented the new guidelines and sat back to see what to expect. The kids, Teresa, you could help me with here, but I thought they handled it great. They're very resilient. It was a combination of indoor masking and outdoor optional, which we'll get to in a second. But for the most part, it was great. And then to have it late in the summer, I personally think that was something we might want to do every year because it kind of took away the punitive feel of everybody's going to summer and I got to stay here, to, hey, we're going to get ready for the next year. I don't know. What do you think, Teresa? Sorry to put you on the spot. Maybe not. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, one was like 6'3", Jacob Bentley. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's built in for the next 3 years, and we want to expand it next year, perhaps bring in more enrichment, perhaps make it all day. Oh, I also want to thank our transportation department because we offered busing, and it was huge. Kids that would never take part showed up, like it or not. Get on the bus, yeah.
Anything else?
That's it.
Questions from the board on summer bridging program? Nope. Okay. Committee updates.
We had a reopening committee. Reopening is probably the wrong word now. It's getting ready for the next year meeting this last Tuesday, but somebody got stuck in Ohio. So we did it virtually, not virtually. I kicked out the information. It was mostly just kind of sharing the PowerPoint that we'll go over tonight and took in comments next Tuesday for those who want to show up. It's optional. It was just basically to bring the stakeholders together, saying this is the plan for this year. Please go talk to your people and come back with comments. So.
Okay. All right. And their first stretch is to rename themselves, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Any questions from the board on that? Okay. Board policy and regulation, comprehensive health education.
Yeah, either last board meeting or the one before, there were some questions and concerns about comprehensive health education. And first, I love when people are interested in our curriculum, so it was an opportunity to share that. And because it was during public hearing, I really couldn't respond. We brought back the full policy today, so I could share what we do as a district and what we don't do. So really, this came out of the California Healthy Kids Act of 2016, so it's been around for 5 years. No real changes in the 5 years. There's renewed interest, which again is great, but we want to make sure that we share what we do and what we don't do. As far as sex education, which seemed to be the big concern, we do it twice. In 5th grade, we have your changing body, or I guess puberty. You know, we're bringing a visiting nurse, and they divide the boys and the girls, and they go over, voice changes and what to expect in the next couple of years. It's an opt-out program, meaning with 10 days, we let parents know it's going to happen. We provide the materials, and if a parent wants to opt out, all they do is give us a written request. In middle school, we have a health book that's divided by chapters throughout their 3 years. It's, what's it called? Health? Yeah. Yeah, and it's divided up. The HIV sex ed part of it is only in 8th grade, and that's taught by our PE teacher, Mrs. Munger, in the past. And I have the curriculum in my office as we speak, if anybody's interested, but that's pretty much it, and that's an opt-out program as well. That's what we do at Spreckels.
Okay. Any questions from the board on that? No? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Please. Yeah.
My child thoroughly enjoyed the 8th grade education she received. Yeah.
I'll let
But
Mrs. Munger know.
unfortunately, she already knew all about HIV, so
Okay, yeah.
she was like, it was
Yeah.
a review.
Right.
But it was good review. Thank you.
Okay. Alrighty. School year opening update.
Yeah, I kind of referenced this throughout the night, but basically, from day one, we've followed the California Department of Public Health guidelines, and they are essentially the state law. And our lawyers and company say you need to follow the law, or you're being irresponsible in a lot of ways and unsafe. So this is the way the school year will look. As far as masking, the rules are that they're optional outside, and indoors, they are mandatory for both staff and students, including the bus. And there are exemptions, so there's a medical reason that we could kind of customize it with a face mask, face shield. We understand masks are, polarizing, unfortunately, but the principals have done a really good job to limit the time kids will have masks on indoors at one stretch. Teresa, I think, emailed her parents and going to try to limit to an hour at a time. Kate, by the nature of middle school, you're moving every 47 minutes and going outside, and there's breaks and recess. So I want to thank you guys for doing that. Again, it's a sensitive issue, but we are following the mandate. Next, okay. The trade-off is by having the mask mandate, the 3 feet or the 6 feet that moved to 3 feet last year is now gone, which allows us to get all the kids in the class and on the bus, which means we could bring back all the kids for full days. So that was the trade-off. Yeah, next. And other requirements, a lot of them were modified. Optimizing ventilation obviously was one of the mandates. We did that last year. The quarantining and the testing has been modified a bit. So screening testing is recommended, but we have plenty of tests. We have hundreds of tests ready to go. And we are looking to partner with one of the state agencies that would run the tests. So it was kind of like a pooling system that they'd identify X amount of classrooms. Parents would be notified that it wouldn't be required. And they actually do it anonymously. So they test a class and names not attached, and if there was positives, then they would go back and give the rapid test. So that's another change this year. Quarantining, there's different, I don't know, it's not the same for every student. It depends on if you're vaccinated or not vaccinated, how close you were, if you're asymptomatic or symptomatic. And again, we're going to practice this. These guidelines are based on layers of mitigation. I think Ms. Owens mentioned that one thing by itself is not enough, so you're going to have 2, 3, 4 layers, and to collectively, hopefully, they'll keep us safe. That's the plan. So that's the plan in 13 days.
Yep. Okay. Any questions from the board?
Question about the testing again.
Sure.
So how is it initiated, or it's just randomly like surveillance testing? I might have missed it. I'm sorry.
No, Veronica's actually coordinating with them, so I'll let her answer that.
So we're looking at this concept of pooled testing, and we make a determination, and we think that maybe in the first few weeks we pilot this. We don't know exactly how it's going to lay out, but let's say that at Spreckels School, we decide to pool test 5 classrooms, 5 random classrooms. Firstly, we have to do an outreach, a messaging, we have to get consent, but they go in and they, out of a class of 20, if 15 consent, we would know who those 15 are. It's a self-swab. All the swabs go in one tube, and they test that. There's no identification on who those students are, or the staff, anybody who's consented. And if it's negative, then that's great. That entire class is negative. If there's a positive test, then we come back the following day with one of the rapid antigen testing, which you find out, it's almost like a pregnancy test, right? You find out right away. And then we would go into asymptomatic, symptomatic. We would go into the different quarantining levels. But the pooling can go on every week. You could do it twice a week. We could do it with our student athletes at Buena Vista when we start. We can drive the sequence, if you will. But they're finding a lot of success with the pooled testing because of the sense of just security it gives folks, even those who maybe aren't consenting to be tested. They know that they're in a classroom, that there aren't positive cases, and you're not waiting until you're symptomatic and possibly shedding, although asymptomatics can shed as well.
taking advantage of the money set aside in the budget for that, or?
This is all paid for by the state.
So we don't have to
There's
funnel up any?
no cost
Good. 'Cause
whatsoever
okay.
except for administrative time.
All right, okay.
There's, yeah.
'Cause, you know,
But they.
things are tight as it is.
Yeah, they provide the actual manpower to do the physical testing, the collecting, the distribution. Whereas what we're doing now, we're doing that. We're managing the, everything. We're getting tests shipped to us, and there's, the only cost to that program is, again, besides our resources, is postage, because we're shipping them off. But I think that it would be wise to do this on a pilot basis and see how it goes.
Okay. Are you asking for direction?
No,
Okay,
we're not.
okay.
Administratively, I think we can make the decision because it is a requirement to have testing protocols in place. CDPH is saying testing protocols need to be in place, and they are in place. We have them now, but they have been under request by someone who, I mean, we've had no cases on our site. We've had employees that have tested positive and then come and told us, I'm positive. I was standing around, Eric for 15 minutes. Eric should probably get a test.
My whole thing is, for this upcoming school year, I would just hope that we can continue on with no kids, nobody in our district getting COVID. That's my goal. Let's not get COVID. Let's be here every day. Let's get the kids back. Let's do what we have to do, right, to get where we want to be. We all have goals of where we want to be for our district. Let's get there. Let's get there by not getting this, right?
Well, that's the whole point of this kind of a program, is that we're trying not only to get back, but to stay back.
Yeah.
And it's 100% volunteer. You don't have to, we can't force anyone to
Right.
test. It's just another mitigation layer that we'd like to offer people who are interested in it.
The reality is that districts that have been back 1 or 2 days are having positive cases. That's the reality, and they're dealing with it. And that's why we have those steps, so. We have a plan. Yes.
Okay. Anything else from the board? Okay. We are now at consent. I'd love to entertain a motion on consent unless someone wants to pull something from consent. Or did you want to speak to anything in consent today?
Not today.
Okay.
So moved.
Been moved?
Second?
Second? All those in favor of the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. Carries, motion carries 401. Future agenda items. Does the board want to add anything to future agenda?
Yes, hold on, I gotta find them. So, I'd like to add 2 items if we could. Talking about the staff looking into, possibly changing the agenda structure.
Okay.
And then also using the CSBA instrument for board evaluation.
Okay.
Our training today was valuable, wasn't it?
Yeah. Anything else from the board for future agenda?
I would like to hear next meeting about our art and music program, please.
Sure.
Thank you.
Art and music.
Please.
Doing enrichment.
Or
In
enrichment
total?
in general,
Okay, in
please.
total, okay.
If you can do
Oh,
that,
okay.
I would really love enrichment next.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
All right. I think that's enough. Unless there's something else. Then I'd love to have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. We are adjourned. Motion carries 401. I got 819, Monica. Thank you.